ready to begin the working session? Okay, so citizens forum, nothing? Okay. Any reports from board committees? So we have negotiations. I don't know if we can report much.
Not a lot to report anyway. I mean, pretty much setting down ground rules, establishing the base, so with Sheena working with Sarah Pearson on that. And really haven't really begun the negotiation itself yet. It's just trying to end that language component of it where we go through the contract and try to square up things, like dates that have been missed, language that's changed, by state statute, that kind of thing. And I think that all moved along very nicely. But fairly dry stuff for the moment and no real negotiations at this point.
So we've got MSCA tomorrow at
Tomorrow's MSCA. 3:30.
3:30? Yep. Okay, and then on to the superintendent's report. Okay.
So you want me to do forestry or no?
Oh, sorry, I just went off what was listed here.
I brought the thing in there, that's fine.
Yeah, school forest.
Once again, no big deal. Pretty much going over the efforts at the loafing shed, which is done. If you haven't seen that, please get out there. The purchase of the skis has been completed. I'm going to miss that number, right?
It's in process.
I'm still waiting for the email. I have to check.
But effectively, we're going to be purchasing 40 sets of skis for elementary school and 40 sets for junior high size kids.
20 and 20.
20 and 20.
20 and 20. All right, I'm remembering some of that. And also looking for trail grooming volunteers continues to be an issue in the winter. So, and we had a discussion about actually altering the trail in the school forest just to accommodate the younger kids so they don't have to make quite as big a lap when they're out there trying to figure out where they're going in the forest. I think, Corinne, you're in charge of going out and getting bids on that. Seth has talked to a few people, right, about
Yeah. We got to kind of figure out where we're going to move the trail to.
And talking about possible grants, I don't know. I know at some point we'll probably lean on somebody to help us with grant writing needs. It might be a good place to practice, but for snowshoes, which are in dire need of replacement, and then there are some looking for money, for instance, for spraying some invasives that are getting in there as well, and that's a discussion for the future. And then also we're putting storybook stuff up for the kids where you have posts scattered around there, and then what would you call it? Just basically a story, but following along in a sequential order and getting those kids to get out and around in the school forest as well. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, and that's about it.
All right. Next. Tim and Lynn.
So in your board packet, I have the enrollment projection, or update, I guess. It's not a projection anymore. Total enrollment's at 426. This is actually down 3 students from the end of last school year. Elementary K through 5th grade is at 197. And senior high, 6 through 12, junior and senior high is at 229. Also in your packet is written communication from MSBA. It's a flyer with a number of board development opportunities. So take a look at that. If you're interested, let us know. Staffing, a couple things under staffing. We had tabled hiring board member Robita as a bus driver, but we have to have all board members present for that. And unfortunately, Mrs. Sonsigard can't be here tonight. So we need to set, I'd like us to set a special board meeting. We can do that now or later. We have some dates. I don't wanna put this off another month till the end of October.
Is it possible to email us just so we know Robin's availability? Since,
I'll go ahead and pass it.
okay,
So, do we wanna do that right now? So, this week, Thursday, anytime on Thursday would work. Monday, next Monday, anytime would work. Tuesday, anytime before 5 p.m. Wednesday, anytime except from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then Thursday next week, anytime. So it's a day there that will work for everyone. This is gonna be, open the meeting, make the motion, vote, and move on.
could we do like a 7:30 in the morning? Is that too early to do?
I don't get here till 7:45
Okay,
So we
with the
do
bus.
do you need to be here?
Yeah, I don't need to be here,
Well-
right? Did we,
I think it's best that you do, you're gonna have to abstain.
Yeah.
But the statute says that when we hire a board member, all board members must be present.
Okay,
So I think we just have everyone here, you'll have to
Yeah.
abstain, and then it has to be a vote.
or like 8 o'clock?
oh, absolutely. I drop them off at 7:45, I go park the bus, and I can be over here at like 7:50, 7:55.
Okay,
I could do it this Wednesday at 7:45.
That wasn't one of the days I set for this week.
I won't be able to do that day.
And then otherwise I won't be able to do that time until next Tuesday.
Tuesday? Next Tuesday work for everyone?
Wouldn't it? So that would be the October 3rd. Right,
October 3rd,
at 8?
8 o'clock in the ITV room, and then I can get that posted for in the public, so, okay? Alrighty. Also under staffing, we have a couple of new additions, in your new, agenda. One, we do have a resignation of Judy Beckman, and her letter's in the board packet. I have already started advertising with a deadline of September 29th. And hopefully interviews will happen October 2nd through the 6th, and I'm hoping to have someone in the building to work with her last couple of weeks. So hopefully by October 9th, at the latest, we'll have someone in there. And if not, my backup plan, if we don't find someone that fits our needs, we do have the option of doing a long-term sub and hire later down the road. So, but we'll try to get someone in there for continuity for the students. Also, action tonight, but it was actually submitted a couple weeks ago, is the Iowa appointment. And that's just a yearly thing that allows me to give various people access to some of our data. So that happens, and that's just a yearly thing. They don't require a board meeting for it, but we've always traditionally approved it, so we've already signed off on the resolution and sent that in, but I will formally act on that. And then also, I included a copy of our strategic plan, 2019 to 2024. I thought we've kind of felt, I have not kept up with that. At one point, I was giving monthly reports on things, and that kind of fell away a couple of years ago. It doesn't mean things haven't been done towards that. So my thought was each month we take one section of it and give a quick overview at the working session on here's where we're at with this topic. So in October we do student achievement section, and you can look at what that entails. Marilee giving her world's best workforce update, and we'll talk about some of the things that we're doing academically with students. And then each month, as I have listed, we'll hit one part of that. And then at some point we'll have to decide if we're gonna go through the whole MSBA piece of it, or surveys, or if we just wanna take a review of where we're at and tweak our plan moving forward. forward, so. What else? October 3rd, we got that set. I know two-step verification when you're in the building for school computers, so I'll send Bill an email so you guys can have that. Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up we have high school principal Mary Merchant.
Good evening. I have homecoming listed. We're starting it earlier this year as far as meaning a full week. So it's going to start October 7th, which is a Saturday, with a Powder Puff football game and then bonfire following that. And the Powder Puff football game is going to start at 8 p.m. because we're working around when the JV volleyball girls get back from their game. And then different dress-up days have already been posted around the school, and Battle Royale will do. And then excited to have another school day game going on in the building, which this year it's volleyball. It's going to be a very busy day that Friday the 13th with volleyball, and then followed by activity / dance for 6th through 8th grade, then the football game, and then after the football game, dance for 9th through 12th graders. So looking forward to a great week for the kids. Interquest Detection Canines will have 3 visits, and the first one will be sometime in October. I listed some things that have been going on with the career and college support for students, and we had 8 juniors and seniors attend a college fair in International Falls, and then in October is the big trip that our sophomores go to, and they registered for that a week and a half ago, so they got to pick between 2 different sessions, prioritize 4 for each, so that they looked in advance what's being offered for the different career opportunities, so it can be their interest area when they get there, what they go to. And then it's been pretty much on a weekly basis that I've been sending out scholarship information to our seniors. And then FAFSA this year is being pushed back. It usually has their big rollout in October, but they're saying they're simplifying it. And so in December is when we'll be able to start with that with students. And then I have one more thing. Our APAC, our American Indian Parent Advisory Committee, we received news that we will not be getting any funding this year. So Diane and I looked in it because it's based on your October 1 enrollment from the previous year. And what Diane was looking at showed 21 students, which we couldn't figure out what the conflict was or the discrepancy. So Diane emailed them, I emailed them. We were turned down again. Diane and I both did a Zoom meeting with them, and if you were going to appeal, it should have been in June. And of course, we're saying, well, our number showed you need 20. That's the magic number. And they're saying 18. We had 21. Long story short, the appeal needed to take place in June. Of course, we're saying, well, we didn't know we needed to appeal because we were showing 21. So this year we will receive 0 funding. So I will meet with our APAC group sometime in October. We still need to do a compliance because we have more than 10 students. We don't do the full report or set the goals, but we still need to determine what are we going to do to help serve that population and our students this year. So what I am going to propose to the committee is we look at the items that we purchased last year and really encourage utilizing those items. You know, the books for the kids, there were games purchased for the classrooms, so to really look at that and move on from there. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
I do, not related to what you presented on, but the, it was last year. Bananas?
We are still waiting to hear back from them. So we had a meeting. Yeah, we had a meeting, I want to say in May, and then we were told they would get back to us to set something in place this fall, and we haven't heard back yet. So Mrs. Stenberg, Dee Dee, and I have met and talked about it, and she was going to reach out to, I believe it was Amy Ballard,
Okay.
because they were going to help with the funding. So we're waiting for them to set a meeting time
Okay,
for training and to move forward with that.
okay.
Okay, anything else?
Is the sophomore career fair a mandatory for the sophomores, or do they opt into it?
It is very strongly encouraged, and right now, this year's class has the best buy-in since I've been here. I mean, you know, you got to get here a little before school starts, and it is a bit of a drive over there, but it is such a good opportunity for our kids that, you know, I only right now had one student who was being a bit of a naysayer, and his comment was, well, I don't want to ride the bus that long. Well, we all know wherever we go, we have to ride the bus for a while, so. But they get such great hands-on experiences with different machines, and, you know, Mr. Lane's always like, yep, every staff person in the building should have an opportunity to go and chaperone, just so you can really get the flavor of what it is for the kids. And between the 2 sessions they do, there's 1,000 kids at each session. So that Alaris Center is not just filled with students, but filled with different companies and opportunities for the kids to try different areas. Anything else?
How many did you say had signed up to go?
Well, they all did.
They all did,
Because we met with them in person. We brought all the sophomores together in Mr. Lane's room during his career
Okay,
class. And so we had them open up their computers and we walked them through it to sign up at the same time. So they are all signed up. So
What's going to happen to the one kid who stays back?
I'm still hoping he's going to change his mind and go. I got some time to work on him. But he would be expected to go to his classes. And he may be the only person in his English class, but that's the way life is. It is still a full mandatory attendance day. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have business office with Sheena.
On the Finance Committee meeting report, I just summarized our year end again. Nothing has really changed. We're still working on audit very slowly. We should have the presentation next month, I really hope. So I'll contact them again and see what else we need besides the state revenues, which still needs to be recorded. Nothing's changed as far as revenues and expenditures, and if they have, it's just very, very slight. Grants for 2024, we have the Finance 150 Summer Academic and Mental Health Support. We do have some expenses to turn in. We won't spend the full amount of the grant. We'll probably have close to $300 still sitting there, but we can't spend it. It's only for expenses in July and August, and it has to be very specific to what's in the grant. If they open it up again to next year, we can reapply again. We have $2,500 remaining in our Farm to School First Bite food service grant, and Q3 submission is due on the 30th, and we haven't spent any more funds this quarter, so next quarter we'll be able to submit some more expenses when Jackie orders different food products that are eligible. In the past, she's ordered rice from a vendor locally, and then there was Diedrichson Farms out of Badger that also qualified under the grant. attached a UFAR's expense revenue summary that goes through period August 31st, 2023. We currently have expenditures of $1,024,727.54, and our revenues are sitting at $929,300.62. And that could vary once we move our state revenue back to FY '23. Just noticed I'm missing a page. So tonight there is a motion for the levy limitation certification. We ran the report last week, and then we also completed a survey that has to be done online. And it's still inaccurate, and I'll explain that. So the document that we review is 39 pages long. And last week we had a decrease of $305,000 from last year. And now this week we have a decrease of $515,088 from last year. We did notice that they did not have our pool levy on the documents, and I actually emailed them that on September 5th. They did have 2 new employees in that department, so it was an oversight. We have until October 1st until everything is set. So I sent this document again. It was around 4 o'clock. And then I also indicated that our, there was one other thing that was missing. Or our Safe Schools levy dollars were not on there either. So once they fix those 2 things, we should be good. And also, when we completed our audit entries for county revenue, we had an overpayment of $495,000 just from our county. So the decrease this year is due to the overpayment from this past year. So they're just leveling out so we don't get additional revenue that we shouldn't get. So once these are all finalized, I'll email them to you. So the numbers that we are asking you to approve are from last week, but we also indicated that we want you to approve the maximum amount. So once everything is revised, which is done Sunday night, so then everything's updated on Monday, everything should be good. But I'll keep in touch with the state and I'll let you know. So other than that, we don't really have any control over the amounts, as long as everything on the papers are correct, so.
Page 30 in that levy sheet, that's the summary page.
Oh, yeah.
That's the go-to page, so if you want to just get, because there's a lot of stuff here. Page 30 if you want to look at last year.
So the one that's attached is the one I ran last week, and now today I checked it and it's different. So next week it'll be different again. So it'll be different for the good next week for sure. But student activity balance report is attached, and also I attached our frontline reports again that are very consistent with last month. Not much of a change. I contacted our frontline Forecast 5 rep and asked when they would like our FY '24 budget sent, so then we can start reporting on FY '24, and he said I can send them right away. So I'll send them this week, so then by next month we'll be reporting on the new year, and I'll still provide an update on FY '23 and hopefully get that closed out. So any questions? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Next up, yeah, activities director and community ed, Sam Line.
I just have a quick update tonight. You'll notice we're making some changes to our football coaching rosters. We're appointing JP Sweet as the interim varsity football coach. So he will finish out the year. Tony Rouse and Alan Cobble will stay assistant coaches at that varsity level. Bob Lane will step in at the junior high. They've only got about 10 days, 2 weeks left. And then Brent Noble will be volunteering at that junior high level for the rest of the season. So feeling good and confident about that crew. And then excitingly, I think this time last year last month, we had not gotten the scoreboards yet, or they were coming. And so just to kind of, I've talked a lot about them, so I probably talked about this with you, but they are up. Well, I should say one is up and installed. So if you get a chance to go into the gym, you walk in those big doors and it's on the wall up and behind you. Looks great, very pumped about it. They work very well, which is exciting. A little bit of challenge, we did get two to kind of similar to the old model. And the second one, which will be just the kind of center scoreboard console, it won't have the stats panels or the truss up above, came damaged. So we think it looked very obviously like a forklift had tried to get under it and lift it and scraped the rest of it. So that is being remanufactured. I think the last update we got, Seth, was that it was maybe late October was going to be here. We'll have to work out some installation things with that, in that we ended up keeping the date for the installation crew for the initial one so that we could get a scoreboard up and on the wall to work. So we'll see, it might end up being Dale installing that, but it's a little bit of a more straightforward system, which will be great. And you'll also notice that the shot clocks are installed up above the baskets, which was the original impetus for getting new scoreboards, was to get those shot clocks installed. So it's happened, it's exciting, they look super nice, we're very excited about it, and we'll keep you updated on the second piece when that shows up again. But yeah, I appreciate Seth and his crew for making that happen. I know that they've had a lot of projects this summer, and that was one of them at the last minute, kind of, that ended up their crew made happen. So, any questions about anything?
When you mentioned the interim part, would you plan on?
Yeah, the plan will be to do another formal search in the off season to take candidates again and rehire from a new candidate pool.
Okay.
And then we'll likely, this is typically the process for new head coaches, likely reassess who is in that coaching staff beyond that point. Typically there's carryover, people are excited about holding on to coaches who've been involved in the past, but that will be part of that process after we hire somebody. Anything else?
What do you have for community ed programming?
Oh, yeah, we do, yes. So we've got a K through 3 football happening on Saturday mornings, run by Tony Taylor, who works at Greater Insurance. He's doing a great job with them. Him and Dan, his father-in-law, Dan Holman, is helping out with that. Rylan Henriksen and Austin Heimstra are running a football, 4th and 5th grade football, happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Really excited about that, because that is all of these are feeders into our junior high program, but for sure that 4th and 5th grade group feeds that junior high most significantly. So excited that those kids are getting more reps over the course of the fall. Both of those programs will end with a halftime game at homecoming on October 13th. So if you want to see some really cute kids playing some chaotic football, it's one of the cutest things alive. So at halftime, both of those teams will have a one-on-one and one on another. They'll be doing a little scrimmage. And then we also have Jenny Skoog is running a run club on Wednesdays in the early out. She's got about, I think it's 22 kids between K through 5th grade showing up to do a run club. She's running it and then aided, which I really love, by her varsity runners who, help train and help work with. I think that's a really meaningful experience for those varsity runners, varsity and junior high, honestly, but they get to do a little bit of training themselves, which you learn by training, which I think is a good deal. So those are the most significant ones. We're gearing up for holiday extravaganza and of course our winter programming as well. So yeah, it's been good. It's happening. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Next up, buildings and grounds.
A little bit of a list for you guys tonight. Did you guys take time to go in the commons to look at the monitors at all? We got that project done, and it is, what do you call it, visual media now, for like what's happening in school, who's getting messages that need to get checked. The lunches and stuff are all up there, and it's been a really big help instead of just manually putting it up.
You're talking the one over the stage there, or the,
There's two more over by the Bears Den too.
oh, I didn't see that.
Yep, so those are on each angle, so there's three of them. I think those ones are 54s, and the one on the stage is a 72. So that's been a really big help. Students are actually doing a lot better reading those than listening to announcements and stuff coming in for that one. So if you get a chance, take a look at that, and it looks really good. Pool robot cleaner, about 3 weeks ago, it finally broke, and we had no choice but to get a new one. 2 years ago, I had to find filters for them, and I had to order them out of Europe. It was the last fourth I could find anywhere, so it was just out of date. So when that one went, we had to get a new one. The new one is actually working really, really well, a lot better than the other one. It's going to keep the pool very healthy. Staffing updates, as of right now, we're still short a half person during the day, but I'm able to cover that position for right now. And we do have backups if I have to be gone to fill in where the spots need to get going. Working with John, and there's a couple other people that'll be able to step in and fill in those voids. Woodseth is coming the September 28th for the facility assessment. It might be on the 27th due to scheduling conflict for two of the guys, or it might be held over both days, but that'll be happening this week. The walleye wagon removal, we've taken that off the field and put it back behind there, and we're looking at ways of disposing of it. It was donated to the school. We don't have a title for it. There was a title for the truck portion of it. That went with the truck when Reed got rid of that part of it. It was left open, I guess, for a couple winters. We didn't know about it, so the inside is pretty much shot. So we did have two parties that were interested in scrapping it. We're asking, what I'm gonna ask is if you guys could come up with ideas. How do we approach that? How do we get rid of it? Do we put it up for bid? Do we go with the third party off-site, some come and get it to scrap it? That's something to think about, and then just kind of let me know you guys' ideas on how to approach that.
So you want to, by bid, do you mean for them to charge us or for them to pay us?
For them to pay us for the scrap. Yeah,
Like
it
like-
won't be the other way.
We want to get rid of it.
You know, it was brought up before about us hauling it out of there. We don't know how far it's gonna go because it's sat idle in that spot for 3 years, and then over there, we're not sure how long it's sat. The hubs might make it to the end of the road. It might make it to a scrap yard. We don't know. So I'm not willing to take that chance of actually putting more work into it just to get it to a scrap yard. The next one is the revised CCN contract. They did put in, I think last time we talked about this, they wanted an opt-out clause. That is in there now. I think it should be in your packet. It's on for an action for tonight. And I really do like the verbiage on it. It protects us and them both. The next one, the Paul Bunyan Transit contract came up. I talked with Jeff a little bit on this, and we did put a 2% increase, rounded off to the nearest dollar. They were very happy with that and okay. So that one's coming up she signed it already, and that's another action item for you guys tonight. Number 8 would be the John Deere lawnmower. We got it on order. That one, it took a long time. It's been so hard to even find a used one that you can't. These things are in such high demand. So we worked with John Deere, and we actually got a 2-year lease in the capital budget. It was budgeted for $25,000 over the next 2 years. Total came back at 48. Was it like 48,701 for the snow blower and the deck that we wanted on that with the cab. So that fits right into that budget perfectly. Originally they gave us only a 3-year, 48 to 60 and a 36-year lease. I did talk to Chris and they said absolutely John Deere would work with us. We're just doing a 2-year lease. Over from a 24 to a 36, we're saving almost, I think, $3,000 on interest. So that I think also is an action item for you guys tonight.
And
Yeah,
Seth,
go ahead.
so total cost then after like factoring in payments, we're at about 52,000, right?
It would come up to,
that-
let's see, where's the 24?
Is that correct? Yeah, so the,
Roughly, yeah. So the 24 lease had come to 51,978.96.
yeah, okay.
Now, you're saying lease, but it's actually a purchase over 2 years, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, lease to buy.
So we did get some good news is we possibly could be getting it as soon as February. That's how back ordered those things are. And the last one, the auditorium lighting project. So I just got an update for our electrician today. They're looking at being able to button everything up on our end by the end of next week. And then Gopher Stage lighting is scheduled to come in the week of October 16th. They're assuming it's going to take 3 days, but they're allowing all week to get it finished. Once it's done, everything will be done. They'll be trained, people will be trained on it. Everything will be upgraded, and hopefully we don't have to ever worry about it again in our lifetime. That's the plan. Now, it's kind of fast. Any questions?
Is the WITSEF facility assessment a full day event?
Yes, I'm assuming they're figuring it's gonna be a minimum of 5 hours. Because they're gonna be going through the complete building envelope. Once they're done on the outside, then we're gonna be looking on stuff in the inside. You know, going through, the HVAC system, they're gonna be going through looking at the carpets, the floors, doors, everything that you can think of that, you know, a building of 30 years old is coming up on. Stuff that either we need to get fixed or something to look forward to in the future. It's gonna be a very good, I guess, starting point and a base to where we can look at, have a third party come in and say, this is where everything is at. So, did that help? Okay.
I'm just curious if it works. I mean, I would certainly like to stick my nose into it for some segment of it, but you said it might be on Wednesday.
It possibly could be on Wednesday. It might just be one guy on Wednesday and the other 2 on Thursday. So, yeah, that's right. If you're available
Well,
on
here
Wednesday.
anyway,
Yeah,
I might
absolutely.
take longer than that.
Yeah, I'd very much appreciate it, have you guys in there to see what's going on, get your thoughts on it too.
And then the walleye wagon removal, I mean, it is strictly a scrap situation, and if it's gonna cost us anything, I mean, would the dump even take something like that? I don't think they do.
No, that'd be too big of a unit for them to come and get and scrap and get it out of there, for them to,
I don't know if they'd get it, but I'm pretty sure they would take it. Have you talked to anybody out there?
I have not. The only ones that have expressed interest, I haven't even thought about them, to be honest with you, is Tony Rouse and
I feel like there's enough scrap.
Gary Fish.
Gary would be a steel guy.
Yeah, absolutely, both of them are. And they both expressed interest in it, so to kind of put it in a dilemma, what do you do at that point? You know, you can't just say, yeah, hey, you're first, here you go.
And we're not really concerned about making money on the transaction, so if we
No.
could get it on a trailer and take it there without having to you
I
know,
think
replace
both of
hubs
them,
or something.
both of them will come and remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there are trailers around that will handle that.
Yeah.
you know.
yep,
Just have
absolutely.
them submit a bid for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
Could you
what I
do
was
like a
Sealed
sealed
bid.
bid?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Do we have to post it, or could you just do like a Facebook post, or I don't know? Just trying to think of, like, I've seen City of Williams do that, and
It's basically just for removal of it, you
Yep.
know.
must be removed by such and such date.
Yep,
So you're just wondering which of the two might want it more, but how does that reflect in terms of bidding? They're not actually gonna pay us to take it away.
depends on how much they want the scrap, I don't know.
I mean,
One
Well,
might
we might
bid
get a-
$1,
you know,
one might
Quarter
bid 2.
bid maybe, or?
yeah, and I mean, we're not saying, you know,
It's just to
basically
be-
it's not a financial
No.
gain.
Right, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
looking
like
at.
a
It's to
dollar
be
or
fair.
$5.
Yeah, it's to be fair. Make sure everything is
Suppose
done
you could
right.
flip a coin, but, you know.
Yeah.
You want a trailer? So
Anything
what
else?
would you do with that? Would you have to post that in the paper or something and taking bids? I would think you would. You can't invite them.
think
You
it's
have
just
to
sealed bid
post it.
stuff.
Yeah.
A year ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah, just run an ad, say we're taking sealed bids from X to Y, and we're opening them up on Z.
X to Y responsible for removing it.
Yeah, you would put in there what it's for, absolutely, the terms that we want met.
And any money raised would go to AAA, or,
No, it should
Well,
go to
what was it?
school.
School?
To go to the
It's a
school,
donation.
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, what it.
Well,
what
it was
it
intended
done-
for athletic events, but.
Yeah.
Right, I mean,
Put it back in the
I
athletic,
just, versus the abyss.
yeah.
I don't know. Unless it's just 50 cents, I don't care, but, it's like, you know.
All right, anything else? Okay. Thank you.
Next up, we have food services, Jackie Pearson and Jill Olson.
I don't think we would have anything for them.
Just a report in the,
Do they have a report?
yeah, our packets got kind of screwed up, so it was like page 135 of one of these, I can't tell, the working session one, so.
I can't access mine now.
Oh, you can't,
I'm present. Access yours.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's crossed out.
yeah,
It's really about that bid for the Head Start meals, isn't it?
Yep, yeah, the last part is Lake of the Woods School will now be reporting all Head Start students in their state and federal reporting. This change is due to Head Start being considered a daily enrolled classroom. Therefore, the memorandum of understanding has been changed to reflect that.
And that is an action item, I think, right?
It is.
Yeah.
okay. And then we'd have transportation, John?
Well, I don't got too much for you. We got 2 sub-drivers right now that are, I think they're planning on going full-time. Do we know?
Yep.
That's the plan
Yeah,
with
the
them?
plan will be, they'll be under their regular contract, so.
So we'll be at a full staff. I don't know when's the last time we've had a full driving force. It's been a lot of years, so
Yeah, you tell us, it has been a long time.
I think it's been 10 years probably, I don't know. So that's a,
I wouldn't say that too loud.
yeah, didn't say it out too loud. I finally got approved by the state so I can do driver's checks on all the drivers and the type 3 drivers. That was a challenge. Got that done. I'm working on finishing the transportation worker Sheena. That's been a challenge. That's a lot of learning, a lot. She's been very helpful, so appreciate that. And that's all I got. Do you have any questions?
Just keep up the good work.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
Do we have any, we were looking at getting a new type, whatever vehicles and stuff. Where are we at on that? Anybody, have we done anything
Because we
with
were
that?
gonna get a new Suburban or something,
Yeah.
but then it was back ordered.
Good question. I don't remember where we're at with that.
Okay.
So I will, Dale, John, and I will meet. Tomorrow? Well, we gotta check our calendar. So we have a weekly transportation meeting. I'll bring that up. And we might wanna have a transportation committee meeting, to look at our fleet and stuff like that, so.
I know they outlawed the, what was it, the 14 passenger vans, but like the transit, or I talked about a minivan
Yeah.
possibly, cause I mean, those, you can get seating up to 8, pretty easily, and stuff, so, whatever.
Did they extend like the year, or how many years you could use a vehicle to?
Yes,
There was some
it's
extension.
unlimited.
Yeah, there was
Just
some,
has to pass DOT inspection.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we can keep them longer.
12 years for a new vehicle is not that long.
Yeah.
It's been 12 years, you don't have more kids in them.
yep, so.
So right now, we don't have anything budgeted for purchase.
She's
So-
like, don't do it.
Yeah, pay me now or pay me later, whichever.
Yeah, but I think we'll do a fresh start with the
Yep.
fleet. So I'll put that on my agenda for tomorrow's meeting.
I have a question about the, did you have something?
I don't wanna forget, but we are not signing a contract with CNN. Should be CCN. on the
I was wondering about
agenda And in the
But it's-
whole business.
Oh, is it a CNN and
It says CNN.
Yeah.
It's
Just want to say
CCN.
CCN. Not CNN.
Should I make the change?
I don't know, Don Lemon, can he plow snow? I mean, I'm good with that.
It's just autocorrect.
So, that and make sure that we table
Again,
personnel approval to the October special board meeting.
yep.
We can make that one motion to table it and setting it,
In
setting
it,
the
just
special
in
board
with
meeting.
the, oh wait. Yep,
Does that make sense?
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We have a few minutes.
I'm gonna go use the restroom. Just want to
The football lights
Oh.
went out.
Yeah.
And then they never came back on till like a little, like,
Yeah.
It was too late.
So Dale,
Barely
Dale
came back
thought that it's a ripple in the electricity grid based on all of the thunderstorms happening.
okay.
So that was the original cause. It
Yeah,
did sound
I was
like.
at home and Laura came out of the back room and she goes, did you see that? It spiked to where she thought the light bulbs were gonna blow.
Okay,
And it was less than 3 minutes, I got a phone call that the lights went out here.
okay.
So Dale was working on it, went and checked it right away, and he found that the main fuse, I think it's 300 amp, had blown. It shorted out, so we're waiting on hopefully tomorrow new fuses come in. Those are something they don't carry here
Okay.
regularly. So
Order
once
2.
they get- What's that?
Order 2
Yeah.
of each.
Yeah, well, we're gonna order one set to get them in just to see what happened. If it was a spike through there, I guess up towards the lake.
mine because I've
A tree got hit right by one of the transformers
Okay.
right during that lightning storm. It's just, everything was real coincidental. So that once the fuses get in, they'll be able to test that and see if we have to go beyond that or really get a transformer. Did it burn a leg out in 3-phase? I don't know. So we'll just have to start once the fuses come in and then go from there. Maybe
So-
just fine.
Kern, what you were seeing is that in order for those lights to come back on, they have to cool all the way down
Yeah.
and then come back on. And that's why you saw some come on, but not all, so.
Well, if the fuses blew, how come, I mean, wouldn't that have kept them up?
One fuse blew.
Oh, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you had 2 legs, you're missing the main. So
What's
it's
the
enough to
300
get it.
Just
What's the
wondering,
300 amp fuse cost these
like,
days?
I don't even know.
is
to be
that old
honest with you.
technology? Is it
Pricey piece
possible
of
to-
equipment.
Yeah, I'm kind
I
of.
think that's a great question.
Okay.
Probably about that big
Ask
around.
Seth.
Yeah, put a
'Cause
big,
there's so many
big
energy
bar in there, a screwdriver.
incentives right now.
I
Yeah.
got a big paper clip.
Yeah, a large coin, Canadian coin.
Hey Seth, Kern was just asking about where does that technology land those lights in terms of, like, are there opportunities we could jump into in terms of rebates if we got
That's
different
something that
style.
That's something on my radar that I would like eventually to upgrade. Those are metal halide,
Okay,
which are energy eaters.
yeah,
And it's outdated technology. If at some point somehow we could find funds to upgrade to LED, I would be all for that.
so you could, okay, well, that's what I was wondering, because there's a lot of energy incentives right now.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
If there was money available, but at the same time, when they're only on for 3 hours every few
Right.
nights
For
for a portion of the
maybe
year,
6 nights a year.
it's
Right.
not the end of
Not
the world
huge.
energy-wise.
Yep.
Because we use them for those four football games, and then maybe at least one track meet that they do
Yeah.
under the lights. And then maybe, given the year, another junior high game or not, right? I mean,
So
there's,
that's pretty limited.
yeah.
That's one of the other things that I was thinking, it'd be really nice, but same time.
Can get a grant or something, great, but
I mean, are we talking $5,000? Are we
Yeah.
talking?
I don't know, it's a long ways in the air, so it's gonna be expensive.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
they're
just
not
the,
cheap.
yeah, the person
Yeah.
getting out there, yeah.
You know, when we got rid of metal halides in the pool and went to LEDs, that made a significant.
that would be a savings.
Yeah,
That was a huge saving, and safety wise too. We do have a power outage, they come back on as fast as they went out.
Yep.
So you don't have to wait for them to cool down,
Yeah.
come up, worry about it, somebody in the pool.
yeah. Ooh.
Just personal choice.
That's just one of those things, it's a want.
Yeah,
No, like,
sure.
So while we have the lull in the action, where are we at with our MCA scores and stuff?
I'll quit asking.
They're in.
So you can quit saying, I don't know.
That's, okay, so in October?
Well, you don't.
I feel like.
So but I mean, having Diane pull things, because that's part of what we need to do. for
Oh,
the
absolutely,
workforce,
yeah.
But they have delayed
So.
updating until October.
Okay,
So I can't even work on the report until October.
okay. I thought they were, oh, what do you mean updated?
Well, for the world's best workforce, so that we can compare to see if we show growth, what our goals were for that.
Okay. But we know our own scores and can compare them, right? Or what do you mean?
Yes.
I guess I'm,
Yes, so you mean, I have not looked and analyzed Boyd other than looking at high school and.
That's on the website.
are we gonna look at them and analyze them?
Oh, of course,
Okay.
yes, so I mean, I'm saying I've looked at them as far
Josh will
as,
be here between 10:30 and 11.
you know, looking and seeing where do we meet, where were we compared to the state and.
I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
Wednesday. I was thinking today
Okay.
was Tuesday.
We have room for growth.
We've had room for growth for quite a while, so we should maybe
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
do something different. You know the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, so let's not be insane.
Well, and
Well, we
I,
have done some things, and I will report in October, but we've done
Okay.
I mean, we're doing things to train staff and taking measures, so we'll
Okay.
share that in October.
and different areas have shown growth, like different grades, so I'll bring those reports back for you to look at again.
Okay. And are we gonna do a comparison over the years?
That's
the
what
best way.
Diane created last spring,
Okay.
and, oh God, okay, I wanna say March, when we had our in-service day in March with the teachers.
Okay.
We spent time for them to look at those, so I will bring those in for you to see also.
Good.
And it is years, and
Yep.
Diane does a phenomenal job with that.
Great.
Yep.
Do we get the ACT and SAT scores of the kids that
I
take
don't
them?
even know that we have kids to take the SAT, the ACT, yes, we get those
I know they're
scores.
usually the ACT, but
Fewer and fewer students are taking it because it's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's no longer a requirement to get into most colleges.
but we get that information,
Yes.
right? Okay.
For the action items for the CCM, Albany and John Deere contract, you need me here, or is there any questions on this?
No, saw you signed it, so if we don't approve it, do you get to pay for it?
Good. Good tactic.
In order to I signed it, we haven't sent it back.
Yep.
All right, I gotta take off for the 9 days.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, since that's your kind of bailiwick, how big is the 1575 that they're going by? Do you have one of those in tow over the county or no?
No, it's almost, it's a front mower, so it's almost more of a landscaping type thing, but I think it's like a 35 horse, right around in there.
It's a pretty sizable piece of equipment.
Yeah, yep, and they're getting that, was it a snow blower, a front mower, oh, they were getting something else too, I forget. Was it a pusher?
Jeff?
I forget.
Me. Do you want the,
Turn off your mics, guys.
Oh, yeah.
oh, I don't know. Do you want the special meeting in a board action?
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't saying anything, my mic's turned off.
Order, turn your mics on if they're not, please. And we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We're looking for a motion to approve the agenda, but we do have a couple changes to it. We've got, going to table the appointment of Carla Rabita, but add, setting a special meeting. And also just a minor grammatical change on old business, changing CNN to CCN.
I'll make the motion.
Second by Lyon.
Motion by Boyd, second by Tim. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. No board presenters? No written communications?
Did you state the date and time for the special board meeting?
No. We will in the motion. That's my plan anyways.
Okay, perfect, just making sure.
Okay.
Report.
Okay, next up, we've got old business. I'm looking for a motion to approve the CCN services snow removal quote tabled, I guess it'd be a contract, tabled from August 28th, 2023 meeting.
Robita motions.
Second by Lyon.
Line.
Okay, Robita and Lyon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So we've tabled the personnel appointment, but we'll set a special meeting. We're looking for a motion to set the special meeting on October 3rd at 8 a.m.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Ellis, second by Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next up, we're looking for a motion to approve the August 28th, 2023 board meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ellis, second by Robita. I'm sorry, any discussion? Missing that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve invoices, financial statements, bank reconciliation, wire transfers, and purchase card statements.
Make the motion.
Second by Lyon.
Johnson and Lyon. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Yeah, I was with the first.
Throw me off. Looking for a motion to, let's see how this is worded, approve the personnel resignations, retirements, and appointments. I'll just read them. We have an appointment of Brad Abbey as bus driver, JP Sweet, varsity football coach, Bob Lane, junior high football coach. Resignations of Judy Beckman, teacher, and terminations of Hal Reeser, varsity football coach.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Johnson and Robita, any discussion?
Do we need to specify that Brad's a sub bus driver or no? Or does it matter?
Yes.
I can add that.
Good.
Also, a thank you to Judy Beckman, 14 years with the district.
Absolutely.
Wish her
Yep.
well.
Would you say 14 years?
Yep,
15, 14.
It's a long time to work with those littles.
within a year or two.
And was she always a kindergarten teacher?
Yes.
This is our big change here.
Thank you.
All right,
Well, anyway, it's a bummer to lose long-term teachers, so.
okay. All right, any other discussion? Call for a motion to approve? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we're looking for a motion to approve the vendor vended meals contract between Lake of the Woods School and Northwest Community Action to provide breakfast and lunch to Head Start students, adults, and snack milk.
Make the motion.
Second by Lyon.
Johnson and Lyon, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm looking for a motion to approve the 2-year lease with True North Equipment for a John Deere 1575 lawn tractor.
I'll make that motion.
Johnson,
Second by Lyon.
Lyon, any discussion?
I know they use it quite a bit, but that term lease just messes me
Yeah.
up.
Why do they say that?
It's the term, it has
There's two
something to do
different
with
kinds
this.
of leases. There's an operating lease and a capital lease.
Oh.
This would be considered a operating lease.
Like, would you
Because
like it
you
to say like lease
buy
to
it out for
own?
$1.
Lease to own.
But it's a purchase, it's just over 2 years, but
Right.
it's the
Yeah.
terminology.
But that's
used
what
with
they
it.
call them, or in my world, that's what they call them, is an
Yeah.
operating lease versus capital lease. In a capital lease, they actually set the fair market value of the item when the lease ends. And in an operating lease, it's like $1 buyout.
But this isn't even that. This is,
Yeah. Well, but there's,
Yeah.
it's basically,
I
And
mean,
we're
there's a
buying it.
payment schedule.
it's
and
not,
everything
it has
attached
nothing
it.
to do with I should say the buyout or the end of lease has nothing to do with the value of the,
no, they do with the school buses, so it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's the same type
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
That same conversation.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you said your piece?
I know. I didn't mean to digress that badly, but I just.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2023/2024-04, accepting a donation of $247.33 from the Wabanaka Lutheran Church to the Lake of the Woods School Backpack Program.
Motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, Robita and Ellis. Any discussion? Just want to thank them for their donation to the backpack program. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2023/2024-05, certifying the proposed tax levy for 2023 payable 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Alice, second by Robita.
And we do need just to make sure that includes the proposed tax levy or the maximum.
Or
Repeat that, so I can add, certifying proposed tax levy for the maximum.
Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
okay.
Add the word allowable at
Yeah.
the end of that.
The
allowable.
maximum
Yes.
allowable.
And traditionally, that would be the wording alone.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
now we have to ascribe a value to it because of the oversight on the behalf of it.
Yeah, it's just,
It's always been an
It's always
amount,
been
and it
the
always
amount
says that, yeah.
or maximum allowable, and that's what it states in the resolution.
That was for discussion.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, I'm gonna read this back to you. To approve resolution 05, certifying proposed tax levy for the maximum allowable 2023 payable 2024.
Yeah.
Is that good?
So we had that with a motion by Ellis, a second by Robita. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we're looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2023/2024-06, appointing Jeff Nelson, Superintendent, as identified official with authority.
Make that motion.
Second by Lyon.
Johnson and Lyon, any discussion?
Jeff's the Iowa.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve the bus storage contract with Paul Bunyan Transit.
I'll make the motion.
Robita,
I'll second that.
second by Ellis. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Any other business? We'll adjourn the meeting at 7:10.